Now, Franklin Graham spent one of the biggest gay pride weekends attacking gay people. And now he's rightly getting destroyed on social media for it. And I am all about it. Now, praising the news that the U.S. State Department under President Trump now wants to ban gay pride flags from flying at American embassies around the world, Graham took to Twitter and Facebook. Now, before I read you that post, I just want to point out how even though the Trump administration says, oh, you're not going to fly the gay pride flag, the pride flag is still up at all the embassies. Oops. Anyway, nonetheless, let's get to the stupid from Franklin Graham. He says, I want to thank President Donald J. Trump and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo for making the decision not to fly the gay flag over our embassies during June in recognition of Gay Pride Month. That is the right decision, he says. The only flag that should fly over our embassies is the flag of the United States of America. The gay pride flag is offensive to Christians and millions of people of other faiths. Really? Like the Muslims, perhaps? The Muslim fundamentalists that you so hate that you just happen to align with on a lot of issues? Oops. Interesting admission. And then he continues by saying, not only in this country, but everywhere around the world, the U.S. flag represents our nation, everyone, regardless of race, religion, or sexual orientation. And so by saying the pride flag does not, then somehow it's discriminatory? Are you claiming that you're discriminated against? Oh, the irony. This is why, of course, the United States, stuff like this is why we're the Alabama of the developed world. This is ridiculous. But he continues playing victim by highlighting the story of an anti-gay Christian florist, Baronelle Stutzman. Now, Baronelle Stutzman just lost her case at the Washington State Supreme Court. So she is basically the owner of the sole owner of a flower shop. And, of course, here we go. She got in trouble for not selling flowers to a gay couple. Now, he said, it's Baronelle's religious freedoms that are being discriminated against. Baronelle should have the freedom not to participate in something she feels is wrong. Oh, boy. Look, man, I'm going to say the same thing to Baronelle Stutzman that I'd say to a Muslim butcher. If you don't want to do your job, get another job. If you don't want to, sell flowers to anybody who wants flowers, right? Whether it be a gay couple or a man who, committed adultery on his wife. You're supposed to be against that, right? Or whatever. It's the same thing that, again, I would say to a Muslim who refuses to chop pork, right? Hey, it's against my religious beliefs to touch pork. Then don't be a butcher. Then don't be a butcher. Go do something else. That's all I have to say on that. Look, I know I'll get the response of, Jeff, you don't understand. It's her religious beliefs. Well, then she better be boycotting shrimp and not wearing mixed fibers. I mean, those literally are in the same book. And I don't know, according to a lot of people in this religion, no sin is weighed more heavily than any other. They're all considered the same. They're all sins, right? Equal in balance. So you want to go eat the abomination of the sea, shellfish? Well, that's the same as same kind of sin as laying with a man laying with another man, right? So my question is she going to go after this case, protest Red Lobster? Or maybe not. Something tells me that it has to do with cherry picking for what she wants to follow in her religion. And which is kind of course, what Franklin Graham does. So now, here's what people are saying in response to Graham's latest rant. Robbie Hurtlocker says, I'm sorry, not Hurtlocker, which would be an awesome name. Hurtlocker says, I'm a Christian. The pride flag doesn't offend me. What does offend me is Franklin Graham hijacking Christian vocabulary to promote his own brand of empire-exhausting, oppression-ignoring, hypocritical American nationalism. There's more Constantine than Jesus in his rhetoric. Oh, I love that. So good. Ms. Betty Bowers says, you know what's offensive to Christians? A greedy man obsessed with homosexuality and abortion, two things Jesus never mentioned, and judging others and acquiring riches, two things Jesus told him not to do. Again, it's easier to get into heaven than a man it's easier for a rich man to get into heaven than it is to squeeze a camel through the eye of the needle. As only pretending to be a Christian, but it's speaking for all of them again. Scotty D says, no, I don't pray for demons like you and your ilk. You're a greedy fraud. You are of the devil, Frank. Dang. John Storr's editorial board says, only offends fascist Christians. Eddie says, I'm offended that you support and pray for the most corrupt, decadent, deviant man who's ever held office, that you're a cuckold and a liar and go against everything the Bible stands for. That is, woo. Ouch. That's brutal. He's going to have to patch himself up after that one. Sonia Ramos says, I'm a Christian, and the only people who offend me are those who lack love. Don't show mercy, even though Jesus taught us to show mercy, for we have been shown mercy. And those who have the audacity to pass judgment on others. John Aravosa says, other faiths, you don't even speak for all Christians. In fact, you don't even speak for most of them. The arrogance of bigots like Graham always astounds me. They speak for their own little hateful congregation, and they think we represent all Christianity. Fortunately, they don't. Matthew Gomes says, baptized and confirmed Anglican, holds an honors civil bachelor of theology, also queer. Maru says, the Jesus I know would have made them a beautiful floral arrangement. Then he would have turned towards the Pharisees, the religious hypocrites like yourself, and would have told them to love their neighbors as they love themselves. MK says, one day I pray you wake up and realize the LGBTQ community were placed here by love that created you. They are uniquely created in God's image too. FG, this is a test. Can you love people the way Jesus did with a total commitment, unconditional love? Man. Emma Gernard says, what he's saying is offensive to the LGBTQ community. I bet he hasn't considered that. There's nothing wrong with being religious, but that is no excuse for homophobia. And I hope the pride flag is proudly on show for everyone to see. The pride flag, sorry. I've been talking too fast. All right. Hugo Stiglitz says, bigot is not a faith. Now, look, these are great responses. These are the kind of Christians that I absolutely love. Now, I'm an atheist. I have no beliefs, right? And I actually used to call out Christians a lot for being against this, right? And say, hey, you know, why don't you come out and why don't you go after people like Franklin Graham? And they are. And that's wonderful. More so than I thought previously had imagined would come out to call out this hatred. And you know why? It's because people like Franklin Graham don't represent the majority of Christians. They honestly don't. There's a small hateful sect of Christianity, just like there is in Islam, Judaism, even Buddhism. I mean, what they're doing, and of course, even atheism, right? There is small hateful sects of every group, every religion, and even in non-religion, and it's crazy. And they think that their hate is representative of their group or their faith. In reality, of course, it's a mixed bag. The downside, of course, is, and there's a downside and there's an upside to religion, of course. And both of that have to do with what you get to choose to follow. Some people will choose love, acceptance, and kindness, and others will choose hate and division. And that's the unfortunate reality of dealing with religion. Now, the thing is, lucky for us at this time, and it wasn't always true, but for now, love is outweighing the hate. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, You know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.